At 13-2, I think 4-0 Big 12 play. Just kind of what stands out as you get ready for tomorrow.
Well, I think they play as hard as anybody that we could ever play against. Defensively, they're probably as good as anybody that we'll play against this year. And you know, if you turn the ball over 30% of your possessions, then you're probably going against a team that can really guard is active. So that stands out. And then the fact that they're, you know, TJ's certainly giving them a lot of freedom to play with, play offensively. And you know, Kausher and Grill have been great, and then they're not even their leading scorer. You know, so they got a good team. They you know, they were obviously a basket away from beating us last year here. But this year's team's better than last year's team. Last year's team went to Sweet 16.
Bill, do you think MJ would be able to go tomorrow?
It's with his back? Yeah, I think so. He practiced. He could have played against OU. He practiced on Monday against OU before OU. But yeah, I don't see a reason why, health-wise, unless something happens today, he couldn't go. Cam probably won't be able to go though. Cam's shoulder's still bothering. It's not healing at the rate that we had anticipated and hoped. So I don't think Cam's going to be able to go.
Is there anything you can take from the way that Ochai was face guarded at times last year to what happened to Grady last game, if that continues?
I think so, a little bit. You know, they're totally different. You know, I think Grady can become a better screener. The thing about it is Ochai had that quick twitch ability to you know, fake him one way and, you know, create 3 feet of space and feel open pretty much. Grady's got that same ability with a quick release standpoint. But I also think, you know, Ochai was 22 years old and Grady's 19. You know, there's still some time to kind of learn how to move and that kind of stuff that I think Grady could become very good at. But the other thing about Ochai, I thought we did a better job of screening for Ochai than we did for Grady. You know, and this is probably a knock to our 5-man and guys on the perimeter, but you know, last year there was no question who our best screener was on offense. That was DeJuan Harris, no question. And this year we're not utilizing it the same way as much, and we've lost something with him not being that. Our best screener on the perimeter now is probably Kevin McCullough. But last year I thought we did a better job of when Ochai was in the respective area, just to go screen for him, just to do something to try to help him. Even if it's just a bad closeout that he could drive. And with Grady, I don't think we've done a good job with that. And I also don't think that our 5-man has done a great job of you know, freeing him. I think David McCormick and Mitch were better screeners than what our 5-man has been thus far. So those are all areas that we can improve on. It's not all just on Grady, it's on everybody else trying to help him.
Bill, earlier, I think the general fan consent was we were going to get most of our points from the 3 starters, the 3 scorers. KJ and Juan, I mean, they have really risen to where they can help us in so many ways, including scoring. Just talk about that element of KJ and Juan really stepping up on the production scoring line.
Well, it amazes me. You know, Juan, we've seen Juan. I mean, even though it's not been often, I mean, the dude made 3 threes against Villanova in the Final Four. I mean, so we've seen him knock down shots. KJ, we haven't seen because he hadn't had many opportunities. But what has it been, 8 or 9 games in a row? 9 games in a row, double figures, and in that span, averaging what, 14? I mean, that's pretty good production. I mean, we have complained, not complained, but have made it very. It's been very well known that our offensive production wasn't going to be the equivalent of what Mitch and David gave us last year from a scoring standpoint. more than likely. Well, Zach and KJ go get 32 the other night. And even though it's a different way to get 32, but they went and got 32. So I'm very pleased with KJ and what he's doing from a scoring standpoint. And you know, there was a good question about Grady, obviously, because we've done a better job of kind of finding ways to get KJ open, which is kind of sometimes easier inside than it is on the perimeter than what we have Grady. So we got to do a better job with Grady, obviously, on that. But you can also say this, you know, we can talk about Grady, and we should, but Jay Will hasn't been near as involved offensively as what he was prior to Big 12 play too. And his even, you know, you can say, well, he didn't shoot a good the other night. Well, he got 12 attempts and he's averaging 18. So we got to do a better job of getting him looks too. So, and then also the other thing, once we get into league play, everybody defends a heck of a lot better than what they did out of league. So KJ and Juan have kind of been a bright spot because teams are trying to take two guys out, and fortunately we've had two guys step up when they haven't had the same offensive opportunities.
To build off that with Jalen, what is it going to take to get him to be more efficient in terms of the shot making, not including the free throw side of things?
Stay aggressive, keep shooting it when you're open. You know, you play Iowa State or Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. You pass up a pretty good shot, you may not get a better shot. So, I mean, we got to be aggressive to get that pretty good shot. And so, yeah, I'd just like to see Jay Will stay aggressive, and I don't think it's going to be a problem telling him to keep shooting. I don't think that's going to be something that he'll labor with very much.
With Iowa State, you said they're better than last year's team. What about that makes you feel that way?
Personnel, and they guard better, and they were really good last year, and they scored the ball easier.
You mentioned the rest of January and the schedule that's coming up and what you've already had too. I mean, what do you do mentally with your guys to sustain this and survive this, just grinder after grinder after grinder?
Well, I don't think we've done anything, I hope, to plant a seed to survive. I think when you say to survive, you're almost being defensive, just trying to hang on. No, we got to go take. And I think, I mean, I haven't said anything to the point is we gotta. What I've said is, you know, we're going to have to do this to give us the best chance to have success. And you know, the thing about it is, I mean, trust me, Iowa State feels the same way. K-State feels the same way. The league is a monster. So I don't think it's one of those things that you get too giddy or too high, and you certainly can't get too low going through the gauntlet of this league. So Matt, to your point, we haven't really done anything to talk about that. We just talk about, hey, trying to get better and putting us in the best position to beat Iowa State. But I haven't. But as a coach, I know this. You know, you can't approach it when you play a gauntlet like this daily like you would if you had a tough game every other game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's more about mental preparation and rest than it is physical exertion.
Sure. And with that kind of said, you know, Tang's doing it at K-State as a first-year coach. TJ's still pretty new.
Yeah.
He's got a whole new roster almost from what he had last year. I mean, when you look around and see that it's those types of teams that are making this league, or at least partially making this league what it is, how impressive is that?
Well, both those teams deserve you know, all the accolades they've received so far, and both guys have done a remarkable job. And we play them both in the next, you know, 5 days or whatever it is. But I'm amazed if you just talk about Iowa State, because that's who we play. I'm amazed at how hard they play. I'm amazed at how competitive they make each possession. TJ's done a great job, and I also think this too because of K-State's success and Jerome's success, and because, you know, other schools that are having, you know, basically unparalleled success for the respective school this particular year. TJ deserves to be at every Final Five ballot right now for National Coach of the Year, every one of them. I mean, and Jerome does too, but we're just talking about Iowa State now, but TJ does. I mean, those two guys, there's no coach in America that's done a better job at their respective school than those two have at their respective school.
Do you have to address reunion weekend with the team? And is there a different feel with all these people in town?
You know what, I do think there's a different feel. I think it's a busier weekend. I believe that I'm excited about the weekend. I'm not an early riser, and I was in the office at 6 this morning. Excited about, you know, what's getting ready to go on, but also in large part, I knew if I didn't get much done before 10 o'clock, I'd be done for the day, as far as, you know, watching tape and that stuff. But I do think it's an exciting time. It should be a great weekend, but what would make it perfect is obviously winning. And so our guys are very aware of what's going on, but by no means is you know, the game taking in any way, shape, or form a backseat to what's going on the weekend.
Do you know how many people are coming, and who are you looking forward to seeing the most?
I don't know the exact number. I think we got about seated at the banquet Saturday night. I think there's a little over 400. So I don't know if that means 180 plus one or 220 with some plus ones and no plus ones. I don't know what that means, but as far as coaches, players, and managers, I think we're above that 200 number. So, and I'm excited to see everybody.
Coach,
That's politically.
On that topic, Coach, on that topic, you've always put an emphasis on these sorts of events. What are these sorts of, you know, family reunion, program reunions play in the bigger picture of, you know, developing and continuing on a program with as much history as yours?
Well, you know, I'm sure a lot of people do a lot of things at their respective schools that are cool and important, but, you know, I've said this many times, and this isn't anything other than facts, but nobody can boast that the inventor of the game was the first coach. Nobody can boast that the most dominant player, maybe of all time, went to their school. We can. You know, of the coaches, we've had 8 coaches, and I think 5 of the 8, if I'm not mistaken, are in the Naismith Memorial Hall of Fame. That's pretty good history, and fortunately for us, we have Coach Owens and Coach Brown and Coach Williams all coming back for this weekend too. So that makes it special, and especially for their players that played for them. But this is a unique place, and TJ is telling his group, "Can you believe the opportunity we have to go run their weekend?" And you know, we're telling our group, "Are you kidding me? We're not gonna let anybody," you know. So that's kind of, it's gonna be a fun weekend, but it's gonna be a hotly contested game.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Coach.